Hello again, it is I, Freeza700. We are back with some more of
Da Boys.
After the
Now, what is a mech boy, you may be thinking? Well, a mech boy is actually just a term that the orcs use to describe their technicians, their engineers, the guys who are the mechanics, essentially. But what really is a mech boy when you look at him? He doesn't really understand things like quantum physics. He doesn't really understand how electricity is generated. He doesn't really understand any of this stuff. So how the fuck does he run all this equipment? How does he build these tanks? How does he build these guns? He doesn't even understand fucking basic ballistics. He doesn't even understand how gunpowder is made. Like, how the fuck is this guy able to design these super killy death weapons? Well, it's all about the genes inside the orcs. Now, if you recall my older video about the Mad Boys, if you don't recall, then please go fucking watch that video, fuckers. But besides that video, we talk about how orc has a bunch of genes that are kind of dormant, and these are technological genes. This allows him to understand technology. And if he's in a big enough squad, or mob, or tribe, this could actually allow those genes to turn on. And a mech boy is essentially one whose genes have been turned on to a point where he is allowed to just instinctually know how pieces of technology work, and also instinctually know how to build pieces of technology. So he's more or less your mechanic and your blacksmith kind of ordeal. Now, whether or not he goes out and does the looting is really up to the orc. Some mech boys just simply lounge around in their workshop all day and other orcs bring them the scrap, or Gretchen will go out and fetch some pieces of metal and give it to him. Now, the composition of the metal doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if he makes a gun out of gold, doesn't matter if he makes the gun out of flint. It doesn't matter, because as long as he believes it is sturdy, it will be sturdy. So yes, gold is very flexible and very fragile metal, but if he makes you a shooter out of straight up gold, it's damn well better than whatever gun you're gonna have made out of steel or titanium, because the orcs believe it to be strong, so therefore it will be strong. This is something that the mech boy uses to a refined point. And this is where some people aren't sure whether or not the orc physiology of the mech boy is stronger than the other orcs, or whether it's just a simple fact that their mob mentality allows them all to empower the gear. I simply think it's a mixture of the two. So when the mech boy designs these pieces of weapons or equipment, even vehicles, he can't just simply slap up an iron pipe and just go, you know what, this is a gun. No, he can't do that. Instead, he has to sit down and think and go, what does a gun look like? What would a pistol look like? And then he would start to craft it in his imagination, what he perceives a pistol to look like. And then finally, after ramshacking a bunch of wood planks and whatever bits of metal that are lying around, he's got what he would think a pistol would look like. Then he hands it to an orc, or he uses it. Either one, depends on the situation. And sure enough, it fires like a pistol. Whether it's a plasma pistol is up to the mech boy's imagination. Now, no matter what, that gun is now that pistol. No matter what orc picks it up, it is now that pistol, and he believes it to be that pistol, along with the mech boy. So really, there's a bit of raw energy that's put into the metal that makes this gun, in which case, the gun is now bound by the immaterium to be that type of gun. So if he believes it's a rocket launcher, and an orc who doesn't even know the mech boy, doesn't even know the fuck the gun's purpose is, and he picks it up, fires it, it's still a rocket launcher. Because the raw energy inside it has dictated, okay, it is a rocket launcher. Now here's the problem. Let's say the mech boy dies. Let's say all the orcs die. Well, all the orcs dying, the guns would become useless. And this is where the Adeptus Mechanicus has had problems, is they tried studying the Xeno weapons, which is kind of heretical, and this is what really leads them to this decision that's heretical, is because Xeno weapons don't make fucking sense, especially the orcs. Because they'll tear apart these weapons and they'll say, you know, they're missing power supplies, they're missing gunpowder, yet they're shooting projectiles. These guns have no structure, there's no ballistics in them, no nothing, yet they work. So sometimes, my favorite part is a Mekboy will put a drum magazine attached to a SHOOTA and the drum mag's empty. It's just got a bunch of cans next to the barrel of the gun. So really the cans just come up, get crushed, and boom, bullets are flying. But yet there's no actual bullets, there's no actual ammunition, no gunpowder, yet the big SHOOTA is shooting. And that's because, again, Wa energy, they believe it works, therefore it will work. The only problem is that if all the orcs are dead and the Wa energy is gone, then it just crumbles into a piece of random equipment. So if an Imperial Guard in the middle of a battle picks up a gun and shoots it, it's not going to fire, because he doesn't believe it's going to work. Even though he's seen the orc shoot it, and even though he may believe at the time that's going to shoot, he doesn't generate Wa energy like an orc does, so therefore it's not going to fire. Now, interestingly enough, when it comes to a Mekboy, his role in society is actually a very important role, especially if you're a speed freak. If you're a speed freak, you need Mekboys, because in order to maintain your war trucks, your bikes, and all sorts of nice, speedy, looted gear, you're going to need a Mekboy to repair it. You're going to need a Mekboy to refuel it. You're going to need a Mekboy to generate electricity. You're going to need a Mekboy for everything. But besides that, how does a Mekboy really earn a living? Well, here's the fun part.
You want the best shooter in the galaxy? I got it for you. For a scrap of teeth, it could be yours. Hey, you wants the best tank? Well, I got me the looted tank straight from Gork and Mork himself. Just cost you a bits of teeth. A nice big pile of teeth, and it's all yours. Don't press that red button though! Oh god, you fucking idiot!
Suffice it to say, the Mekboy makes his living by just straight up selling shit that he would advertise as the best gear, the best weapons, and also he gets a large amount of teeth for it. Now at the same time though, he may pay other orcs teeth for, you know, protection, because after all, if he gives you a sloppy piece of guns and it backfires on your ass, because orc weapons are a little volatile at best. In fact, it's not unusual for you to buy a gun from a Mekboy and it disintegrates your arm instead of disintegrating the enemy. In which case, you may be very miffed by this incident and decide to take vengeance upon the Mekboy who made it. Yeah, that's why the Mekboy needs to pay for bodyguards. But also, on a bigger note, a Mekboy will need the money to buy scrap. Because, as I said, if the Mekboy is too busy maintaining the camp, because he's got big designs and big plans for the future, he's going to need some RUNTZ to go out and collect shit for him. Like if a big battle just happened, he's going to be too busy tinkering with shit to actually go out and collect the arm of a Titan laying down on the battlefield. So whoever orc decides to take it upon himself to strip that shit apart, even though it would take him hours that are just boring as hell, which is not a very orky thing, but hey, he needs fucking teeth too, you know? So instead of getting the shit beat out of him, he's just gonna go walk and claim shit out of the Titan arm that's laying down on the battlefield and get himself some good teeth from the Mekboy. And the Mekboy may be a little generous and add a nice deal, like give him some improvised frag grenades that might blow up if he pulls the pin and throws it at the enemy. Just maybe. But hey, that's a good deal for the orcs. So, besides that, the Mekboys really play a very vital role, but they do have assistants. Now, not just other orcs. No, when it comes to building shit, especially grand design, they use Gretchen, because Gretchen are cunning and smart enough to understand what their boss wants out of them. Because, as I said before in my Gretchen video, Gretchen are smart, they're actually quick learners, they're just not strong enough to really hold up on their own. The only problem with this, though, is that sometimes the Gretchen may get a little bastardy and decide to personally sabotage the piece of equipment, and then run away before their mech boss turns on the piece of equipment by hitting the big flashy red button and blowing himself apart. That always happens. And usually the orcs don't care, that their Mekboy or their own fellow orcs got blown to bits by the Mekboy inventions, mostly because it gives them a good laugh. It lets them just be inspired by this huge fucking explosion, or laugh out loud fucking crazy when they see the war boss get zapped for 30 minutes of just constant electrical voltage from his new power gun. That always gets the boys a good laugh, seeing the boss really just convulse up and down on the fucking ground. Now, of course, there are some Mekboys who get big, because as I said before, Mekboys don't really partake in the battle. They can, but they just choose not to, just because they're too busy tinkering with shit, repairing shit, keeping things functioning. So they only get bigger by just making more inventions. And those Mekboys are called Big Mechs. And those Big Mechs can actually lead WAs of their own. But it's very rare because, again, they're so busy tinkering shit and their imagination's running wild with these ideas of new inventions that they don't really have time to lead a WA. So anytime a WA is led by a Mekboy, it's not as big of a grand scale as a normal orc war boss, because they're a little too busy with other shit, and them not leading the war band is going to lead to the orcs fighting each other because there's no one to fight because their boss isn't telling them to fight anybody. So that's why their WAs are typically safer than other WAs. But this has been Frieza 700. This has been the Mekboyz. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.
Whoa! Stupid Umis. They left a bomb for us. Oh look, they even left the wire sticking out. Just one snip here and the bomb as good as ours.